Hi, today we're going to go over the CEADO E37 grinder. In one of our previous videos we went into some detail about the family history and the history of CEADO grinders themselves, and certainly if you want to watch that you're more than welcome. It's in our video, the overview of the CEADO grinders. What we're going to do is we're going to get specifically into the E37 today. The E37 is about 25 inches tall. The hopper holds about 3.5 pounds of coffee. As you notice, it doesn't have a doser on the front of it, which is really the purpose of this grinder. It is an electronic dosing grinder. And what that means is that you are, through timing, going to be able to produce a consistent dose into your portafilter. And we'll go into a little bit more detail about that in a little bit. The body here is made of polished aluminum. It's very heavy duty. And it also...
Actually, it's cast aluminum. This one is painted, but it's polished aluminum up front here.
Polished aluminum front, cast aluminum here, sorry.
Solid.
You can tell. And what we're going to do is we're going to go into a couple things. One, we're going to go into the programming of the grinder here in just a minute. And then what we're also going to do is we're going to take apart the grinder quickly and show you how easy it is to clean, and then also how easy it is to adjust. Todd's going to show you basically how to work it. How to work it.
I'll show how to work it.
All right, go ahead, Todd.
Okay. On top here you have a single shot button and a double shot button, and it works off a time. I'll show you a double shot. I have this set for 5.4 seconds now. You just push and release. In 5.4 seconds, you've got your coffee. If you think that's a little bit too much, you can dial that down to like whatever you want, 5.3, 5.2. And now I'll show you how to program it. Push and hold the set button. Okay, it says single shot time. Hit set. Okay, it says 2.6. Well, I'm going to lower that down for the fun of it. Hit set. Now it's locked in. Plus double shot time. That was a little bit much, so I'll go from 5.4 down to 5.2. We set the languages. You have 5 different languages to choose from.
Todd and I are well versed in only one sort of English today.
So we'll use that one.
All right, good.
Yeah. Warn burrs alert tells you when it's time to replace the burrs. And we'll leave that on. We have our reset warn burrs. So basically what this just, you hit reset and it'll tell you next time when you have to replace the burrs.
Yep.
I'm locked in that. Okay. And we'll go up to set start button. You have pulse on or pulse off. We're using the pulse on version, where you push the end switch down here and the grinder goes on for the whole time that you have it programmed. If you put it on pulse off, you actually have to push and hold it for that amount of time. And then I'll leave that on. And then we have our exit, and we all know what exit is. Now if you want to use it in the manual mode, you push both buttons there, and then it's nice about that one, if you just want to add a little more coffee, you can bump it like that, which is pretty handy in a coffee shop.
So it really gives you a lot of, well, it gives you a lot of flexibility here. So you can either be sure what you're doing, or you can be a little reckless, perhaps.
Reckless. Let me show you inside the bean hopper here. If you want, when you want to get in here to clean the burrs, or if you want to get in here, you say you dropped a stone in here, you need to get at it. It's very easy to do. You can do it very quickly. Bean hopper pulls off.
I'll take that. I may have dropped it in an earlier video.
Yep. I'm going to grind the little bit of coffee that's in here right out. Let me use that portafilter, Mark. There you go. Okay, that's good. I'll grab my screwdriver. And you just take off these screws. Now what's really nice about this is when you want to put it back together again, it's already calibrated. You don't have to recalibrate it. It's not like a lot of the other grinders where you actually have to unscrew the whole burr plate.
This is your grinder adjustment here. As you can see, it's very easy. So to the left is going to be coarser, to the right is finer, and it's a lot different than the other grinder adjustments out there.
Yep.
As you can see, boom, we're into the burrs.
You're right there. You can grab out your foreign object that has fallen in, or clean these out, whatever you want to do. And when you notice around what they call the acorn nut here. So for some crazy reason, some of your employees, yourself, or your young children stick their finger in there, it's not going to get hurt.
No, it's a safety device, which is great.
Another nice thing about this grinder is, let's say you find out that this setting here is perfect for your espresso. You can pull out these two screws here and move this lever to the front. And so you know where your zero setting is, your perfect setting for that particular coffee. And that way, if you're actually in a coffee shop and you get a call from your employees, say they're getting terrible espresso, and they tell you that the lever's over here, way over to the left, you say, well, just start in the center, start timing your shots, and get yourself dialed in again.
Here's a close-up of the burrs. These are 64 millimeter burrs. They're made of HRC 65 steel, which is just a type of steel. It's a hardened steel that's actually well designed for burrs. And these spin in this grinder at 1400 RPMs. And Todd's going to show, we showed you pretty much how easy it is to put it back together and to take it apart. The adjustment, as you saw already, is very easy to do.
Okay, and this little rubber piece fits on here. And with this, it's nice to have, up here you can see little numbers where your grind settings are. And it'll tell you this way for coarse, this way to fine. It's right in there. I've seen with a lot of people with grinders, they don't know which way to turn them. They've made it very simple.
I think the best part about this is when you do take it apart to clean it, it's very unique because when you put it back together, the grind is exactly where you left it. There's no other grinder like that. It's always a bunch of trials and tribulations to get it back to where it was.
Yep. Pretty smart.
Yes, it's very smart.
Cleaning the bean hoppers. Notice there's no guards in here. You can get right inside the bean hopper to clean this. They were able to do that by having this acorn nut in here and still get their NSF and UL and ETL approvals.
There. All back together, ready to go.
Ready to go. And we didn't hurry.
No.
Oh, another cool thing I want to show you about this is you notice that this whole thing is moving here. Okay? The motor itself is mounted on rubber mounts. So you don't have it here attached solidly to the grinder, so it's much quieter that way.
It's what they call rectified. And basically rectified means the fact that, in simplistic terms, the best way to explain it to you is it's not mounted to the frame of the grinder like everybody else. The other thing is rectified basically means that your burrs in relationship to your drive shaft are always going to be perpendicular. So what that does, it gives you a more consistent grind. It's quieter. It's not as hot. And the other thing is that they actually have a tolerance in here, believe it or not. The tolerance can be measured in that point, the fluctuation between the burr and the drive shaft. They operate as what?
1/100th of a millimeter.
Which is far less
which
than...
is the best in the industry.
Better than our competitors is what we're saying.
No, they're competitors. Not our competitors.
We don't have to... You can say, okay, I got it.
Yep. And also, the motors here are actually, and the whole thing is put together at the motor factory. It's not put together at CEADO. That's what makes them different also. So they know that everything is exactly as it should be. And also they have a special way that they do the ball bearings, and they mount all this together so you don't get any thermal expansion at the burrs. That actually the thermal expansion would go down, but the burrs stay perfectly parallel and consistent. So even as the coffee gets hotter, or the burrs get hotter, you're still going to have a consistent grind.
Yep, the ball bearings, there's two of them, and they're mounted a little bit different than the other ones. And I mean, we could go into all the technical aspects. That basically, there's a fixed bearing at the top. There's what they call a Belleville spring at the bottom. That's what the bearings float on. Typically, most manufacturers put the Belleville spring at the top, which gives increases the differential or increases the tolerance. It also makes it a little bit noisier. It decreases the ball bearing life. It's a cheaper way to manufacture it. CEADO's gone the correct route, according to us and them probably, which means that the Belleville spring's at the bottom, the fixed bearing at the top. Bearings last longer. It's quieter, less heat, and also, of course, your motor lasts longer.
Goes back to one of those all good, no bad.
Exactly.
Yep.
So that's the E37 grinder. Of course, if you have any questions anytime, we welcome your calls here at Latte Love. Thanks. Have a great day.